And welcome back, guys, to an episode of Let's Play Katawa Shoujo. In the last part, we had our little birthday party for Hanako, which we had to, I guess, hold early because of unforeseen circumstances. And Kira showed up and gave us a bunch of wine. So we're gonna drink. I don't know if we're playing the King's. I don't think we're gonna play a King's game. There's not enough people. But we'll see. I'm thinking anime in my mind, and the King's game always comes up. Like, a lot of you would probably know it from, like, Persona 4. Like, that was where I first learned of the King's game. But now that I watch more anime, I realize that it must be a thing in Japan that I don't know if kids do, but at least adults may. It's so weird. But anyway, maybe you guys can tell me more. Let's continue on. No sooner does she say it that I take a quick glance around the room for glasses. A small groan above me reminds me that Lily's retired to rest on her bed for a few minutes ago. Oh my god. Have they, like, they've plowed through it. Now they're like, the lights are out. They're rolling around drunk as hell. Like, we didn't even get to see them, you know, doing the little sip tests and everything like that. Almost completely drained of energy, I managed to stand up and drag myself to the side of the bed, sitting down and leaning my back against it. Good God. Lily groans, sounds lifeless. Too much to drink? My head hurts. Yeah, too much to drink. I rest my head back and idly stare at the ceiling. It was unmitigated disaster. What an unmitigated disaster. Like proper idiots, we drank all the night away with one glass after another. Hanako simply fell to the side asleep, and it's a miracle I don't feel as ill as Lily. Hey, Hisao, I'm sorry about today. I didn't think this would happen. It's fine, Lily. To tell you the truth, I had a lot of fun today. Really? I think Hanako did too. No, she certainly did. There's a short silence before another groan resounds from the spine. Lily. You okay? As you said, I just drank too much. What's the time? The time? It's... I quickly look at my wristwatch. Its numerals barely legible in the gloom. About midnight. Curfew's in effect then. Yeah, guessed as much. I'll have to sleep here for tonight. As soon as I say it, I hear the sheets moving as Lily starts to sit up. Hanako? No. Go back to sleep. I'll try to get up. That's how I have to. You're in worse shape than me by any stretch. Get some rest. But what about... I'll grab some spare blankets and put them over. Don't worry. As I give a deep yawn and stand to retrieve them, I hear her lie back down in a soft thud. Thank you, Hisao. No problem. It's the least I could do. You look outright wasted. I'm not... wasted. Just a little bit tired. She starts pouting, a slight slur beginning to distort her words as the alcohol takes hold of her again. I grab a couple of blankets, roll up at the end of her bed. Quietly walking over to Hanako, I carefully lay the blankets over her peacefully sleeping figure, making sure not to wake her. The thick smell of alcohol coming off her breath makes me doubt she'd wake up no matter what I did, though. I stand and take one last measure of the room. 2 girls, both very drunk, and 1 guy sleeping overnight with them in the female student dorms. What a scandal that would be if it broke out. As I move to sit back down at the side of the bed, I steal one last glance at Lily. Her sprawling, disheveled figure lies resting peacefully, slightly turned to the side. I crouch down to get a better look. Oh, don't fucking creep, dude. Oh my god, he's creeping, man. You're gonna blow this. Oh, it's cute, though. Oh, it's cute, though. Her white skin blends in with the white pillows of the bed, a look of slumber-born peacefulness on her face. Usually, she seems so confident and forward, always there and caring for Hanako. Now, though, she seems painfully delicate. I think back to Hanako's present. I thought it'd be a nice occasion for her. Or party. Did I say present? Party. A nice occasion for her, but I'd hardly expected it to be so moving. One birthday after another, year after year. Just she and Lily all alone. I guess it wasn't just the presents she liked. Resigning myself to an uncomfortable sleep, I sit down at the side of the bed once again and rest my tired arms beside me. Hey, Hisao? Lily's voice is so quiet I can barely hear it. She must be on the verge of sleep. Yeah? Thank you. Thank you? For what? For being here. That's okay. As I hear a deep breath, it's obvious Lily has gone to sleep. After closing my eyes, it doesn't take long for slumber to take me as well. And nothing happened. Good job. Hisao? Hisao, are you? The soft, barely audible voice lingering in my ears slowly wakes me up. I wish I could be awoken like this every often? Did I read that right? I didn't. I skipped that. Wait. With a mumble, I slowly open my eye. Whoa! Ah! Taken by surprise at the face hovering curiously merely millimeters from mine, makes our heads collide with a harsh thud. Oh Jesus! You fucking headbutted her! The impact of our foreheads caused both of us to fall backwards and yelp in pain. Lily sounds more like a squeaky toy than a person. Ow, ow, ow. I slowly rub my forehead with one hand, supporting myself with the other. Lily lies a few feet ahead, doing just the same, her face obviously pained. Oh, sorry. Your face was kind of close and I acted on reflex. You okay? My head. It seems she's not actually okay. Come to think of it, I doubt that the impact alone is what is causing her head so much pain. Hangover? You drank a fair bit last night. She silently nods in confirmation as I lever myself up. She's got no pants on. Oh, no, she does. She's got little shorts on. I thought that was just one of those, like, she's got, like, a long dress shirt on. I was like, holy crap. She's got no pants. I offer a hand to her and help her back onto her feet. Glancing behind her, I find that Hanako is still fast asleep. It's not fair. I only drank as much as you did. That's very different from what I remember. And anyway, girls have a lower tolerance than men. That doesn't help. It's mostly due to the fact of our size. It's how our metabolisms work. Not really our gender. Oh wait, sorry, sex. Don't want to trigger anything. Oh god, I have. Oh Jesus, keep moving, keep moving. That doesn't help. Fine. I'll get you a glass of water. Just be careful not to trip over Hanako. I rub the sleep out of my eyes, or at least some of it, as I walk to the counter. Tending to someone with a hangover isn't the way I'd like to spend a morning. It only takes a few seconds for the glass to fill, the clear water reflecting the sliver of light that makes it through the thin curtains. It looks like Lily's taken a seat on the side of the bed. I walk over to her while taking care to step over the peacefully sleeping Hanako and place the glass into her outstretched hands. Thank you. No problem. I take a seat next to her, the soft bed having a surprising amount of give. She drinks slowly and methodically. A long silence passes, with only Hanako's soft breathing to be heard. With some measure of guilt, I look at Lily's face and attempt to read her expression. Her brow is furrowed, and she looks to be lost in thought. For a moment I hesitate, but eventually place a hand on her shoulder in an attempt to reassure her. I didn't expect her to flinch rather noticeably at that, though. Ah, sorry, I didn't mean to. Lily quickly shakes her head in a manner somewhat more violent than usual. She takes a long breath to steady herself before letting her head sink. I must look terrible right now. I moved to protest, but quickly realized that it would be futile to do so. That said, I want her to open up more. If you want to talk about anything, I'm here. Lily gives a self-deprecating snort, as if to mock her own emotions. There's just a lot happening now. I'm sorry for being so strange recently, especially back when we were in town. Even now I'm a bit confused about everything. Believe me, I know how that feels. She smiles wistfully, resting a cheek on the back of her fingers. We're a couple of broken young fools, aren't we? Come on, don't say that. Come graduations, we'll be back into the real world. The real world? Sometimes I surprise myself with the way I think about things. I guess the strange, divorced feeling of Yamaku and the surrounding town compared to the outside world still hasn't become natural. Maybe it never will. It's strange. In hindsight, being isolated from society like this doesn't feel as bad as it probably should. A wire grin on her face. A weary, sorry. Weary grin. Willie. Willie. I got the W's now. Oh no, not the W's. So Lily seems to share the same sense of amusement at the idea. Eventually, though, she smiles. Her smile drops. I'll be going back to Scotland for a week or two soon. Is that why we had to reschedule Hanako's birthday party? She gives an affirmative nod. You'll be able to see your family again, at least. You're not looking forward to it? I haven't met my family in 6 years. I don't even know how to act around them anymore. Wait, what? My mouth hangs open as I try to process what she said. If she's 18, that means she'd have been only 12 when they left. I may have seen very little. She may have seen very little of her parents, what with them both working long hours. But that's... I feel utterly useless as I struggle to find some way to respond. But why? Why did they leave? Or why are they inviting Akira and me back? Both, I suppose. My father's business has its headquarters in Scotland, and the executive position became available for him there. In the end, he had to move permanently. My mother followed him, but Akira and I stayed in Japan for the sake of both Akira's job within the Japanese branch of my father's company and my education. As for the latter, one of my aunts is gravely sick. Ah, I'm sorry. Don't be. It feels strange, really. We're being summoned there for her, yet we've barely met her before. I can't even remember the sound of her voice. Equally strange is the total lack of antipathy she feels towards her family, but I'm sorry, I'm still sort of sick and my nose is stuffy, so I'm trying to not let the snot take hold. So I almost should sound like this, to be perfectly honest, if I want to talk normal. You know, so I'm trying to force myself not to do it, so I'm choking on my own snot here. I know, I'm sorry for the image, but let's try that again. Equally strange is the total lack of antipathy she feels towards her family for doing such a thing. I can't help feeling slightly humbled. That said, her wistful exterior is just hiding her emotions. Seeing her like this is depressing. Knowing what to do, I lift myself off the bed. Lily, noticing the bed movement, her head perks up and her hand reaching sideways to feel where I was. Hisao? I walk over to my bag, still leaning against the wall. Unbuckling the front flap and retrieving the opaque bag from within, I take the small, plain box in my hand. Hold your hands, Lily. She looks surprised for a moment, but eventually acquiesces. I'm amused by her look of curiosity when I place the music box in her open palms. Her typically delicate way of handling it, her typically delicate handling, delicate way of handling it makes it seem as if it were fragile enough to break if breathed on. She wordlessly brings it to the front of her face, her slender fingers feeling out its contours and pattering. Eventually, her fingers find the recessed line between the lid and the body of the box, and her thumb effortlessly pops open the lid. I take a seat on the bed next to her, watching her face silently and intently. She sits completely motionless as she listens to the diminutive tiny music box, her mouth just slightly open. It takes a long while before she closes the lid with a small snap, bringing the curtain down on the miniature performance playing in her hands. The smile on her face, gentle and wistful, shows that I made the right decision. Man, smooth. This guy is smooth. He doesn't need my help, you know? Like, he's well, I mean, he's probably going to make some serious mistakes later on, but, you know, it's just one of those things where, you know, like, he's making best of certain situations. Nice and smooth, Hisao. You know, +1, dude. Think of it as a going-away present for your trip to Scotland. I will. A restless shuffling can be heard from the floor in front of us, the sound having woken Hanako. She climbs out of her blankets, the blankets I put over her, looking befuddled and wiping the sleep from her eyes. I see you're finally up. What? Hanako looks around the room with her eyes only half open, her mind far from being as awake as her body. Her dazed state makes me and Lily chuckle. As Lily gets off the bed and tends to Hanako, I take one last look around the room. I guess I better get going then. There'll be questions if I'm seen leaving the girls' dormitory in the morning. Goodbye, Hisao. Oh, goodbye. I stand and walk to the door, picking up my somewhat lighter bag along the way. After I leave the room and enter the hallway, though, I hear Lily's footsteps behind me. What's wrong? Without a word, she strides up to me. I freeze as I feel her hand slide onto my cheek, seemingly every nerve taking in the feeling of her fingers and palm upon it. Immediately after, her face slowly moves next to mine. A light momentary touch of her lips brush against my other cheek. For a moment, everything seems to stand still. I absent-mindedly bring my fingers to my cheek, as if to try and recapture that feeling, that fleeting feeling. Lily. That was my thank you, Hisao. Thank you? For your present. Have a nice day in school. And with that, she disappears behind her door and gently closes it, the muffled voices of her and Hanako audible through it, much as they were yesterday night. I think I'd be hardly pressed not to have a nice day after that. I walk away with a certain spring in my step. I think there were some people around that glanced at me emerging from the girls' dormitory building, but I find it difficult to care. Just the sight of this guy just like skipping home seems like really, really funny to me. He-chan. Go away. He-chan. Leave me alone. Come on, He-chan. Let me sleep. After 2 nights of not being able to sleep at all, the last thing I want is to be woken when I finally manage to. It may be the last period of class, but with a textbook as my pillow, but I will take whatever sleep I can get by this point. See, He-chan? Even She-chan wants you to get up. I don't care what Shizune wants. Leave me alone. Jeez, He-chan. I'll just have to wake. Wait, Misha's going to. You? This is bad. Lay down. No, I'm up. Oh, Jesus. I can feel my face flowering into a scarlet-red blush. The students still in class are sitting bolt upright and staring at the shouting fool who was sleeping just a moment ago. Damn it. I let my head smack back down on the table with a noticeable thud. Misha's trademark uncontrollable laughter reverberates through the classroom. As I turn my mournful eyes to the bespectacled Chizune beside her, she carefully adjusts her glasses, desperately trying to maintain a look of serious disapproval. Narrowing my eyes, I can see the badly hidden grin spreading across her face. Alright. Looks like he's still suffering some repercussions from his alcohol binge drinking. Actually, he should be careful because it could mess with his drugs, now that I think about it. But we'll learn what type of ramifications came from it tomorrow. So take care, guys, and stay frosty.